What's going on, everybody? It's Chip again. And today I kind of wanted to do just a simple little talk about a certain topic, I guess, that resonates with me. And I think it's an issue everyone's kind of facing the way things are right now. The way things are, it's very stressful. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of weight on everyone's shoulders right now. And world's kind of a mess right now, whether it be dating, work, economy. But I just wanted to kind of like elaborate on this topic. And the topic I'm talking about is burnout. You know it, I know it. Let's just get into the topic. Burnout, burnout, burnout. Where do I even begin? You know, everyone has that point where they want to accomplish everything at the same time, and it starts to feel overwhelming, but you get that feeling you're just like, man, I could do this. I want to do it. And you kind of, in a way, bite off more than you could chew. Not a lot of people like to admit it until it's too late, and that's where you run into a lot of issues. You know, Even I personally got a multiple stories about that, but there's just one time in particular in the past that I felt burnout the worst, and that's personally what I want to talk about. I guess I'll just kind of start with my own personal experience. If you ever done any, content creation, you kind of already know by now. First time's not a charm. Second, third, fourth, fifth. You can go through a bunch of channels, a bunch of accounts, and until you really get that fit that you're looking for, you know. So this was attempt number. Well, let's not really go into that, but there was a time where, um, you know, chip really was something that I was fresh off the press with, something I really wanted to try out, and I really wanted to get out there. You know, um, it kind of started with VR content, and then it slowly turned into a mix of, my VTuber content, and it mixed together for a bit. But there was a point where I just kind of wanted to have my growth go a lot. And the issue was at the time I had a full-time job that required a lot of my time. I still had commitments with friends and family that I had to uphold. But at the same time, I wanted to get my content out daily. And I even wanted to stream daily, if you can believe it. At one point, Chip used to stream. Chip used to have a Twitch. And I kind of just, again, I'm going to admit, bit off more than I could chew. There was a lot of stuff that I really thought I could do without realizing the weight of it. And, come to realize that it took a bigger toll on me than I wanted to admit until, again, it was too late. Just to give you an example of what I mean, there would be a point where, let me give you the week. It would just start with getting up pretty early, because you don't want to stay fit. Hit the gym at probably 5 in the morning. Well, wake up at 4, take pre. I know, a little crazy, but go at 5 in the morning. Work out for about 2 hours, and then you're going to work up until like about 4 after all that, and then still getting back home and recording content. And it depends on what I recorded for the week. So if the week before I recorded a restaurant I went to, I would edit the TikTok, look at the demographics, get a topic of what I wanted to do, edit all that, and it still after that record more content, whether that be my VTuber content or my VR content. So I would record a skit, edit all that, and upload it. And still to follow that, I would stream and try to do multiple hours. So you would be looking at about maybe 4 hours every day. And it wasn't really, it wasn't for the recognition, or it wasn't for the, I guess, lack of better words, attention. It was just, I had fun doing it. It really was fun. Content creation is fun, but the issue is when it's a hobby that starts to feel like a chore, which it really doesn't all the time, but at that point it was kind of feeling like that, you know? Um, you're talking about probably up until 12 every day, having to get up at 4 because I wanted to get everything out daily. I wanted to throw that content out there, and I still want to interact with fans. Um, and I thought I could handle it, but again, I did this for weeks. It was weeks and weeks of planning content to record, places to record, things that were trending, still streams, what I was gonna play, interacting with people, having the stream set up properly, going into VR, having my what kind of TikTok was I going to record? How am I going to edit it? Do I need to reach out to a friend so they could be in the video with me or get thoughts on feedback on my content? Again, all at the same time. And it really started to take a mental toll on me. Eventually it got to a point where I was skipping meals, which is not a good thing. I don't suggest you doing that, but I had become so stressed and so focused on what I needed to do versus what I should be doing that I didn't take my health into consideration, and eventually I got a little sick. I started feeling easy and massive headaches, and I started to feel overwhelmed and stressed, and eventually I burnt out and I just couldn't handle it anymore. Um, and so after that, I put Chip away. I got rid of the TikTok. I got rid of everything. And at the time, it felt okay, relieved, but there was always this itching feeling in the back of my head, thinking like, what if I did it more responsibly, or I had fun with it. Why can't I go back to it? And luckily, I was able to take that leap again lately and be more consistent, but also managing, you know, work, friends, family, free time, and mental drain into account. um, and that's something not a lot of people do. People get lost in the pressure to succeed and to be successful no matter what, even at the waste, at the cost of your own health. You see, social media doesn't help, but you have this comparison. You have bigger content creators. You think, I got to get big. I got to do what I got to do. You know, the ends justifies the means type or the means justifies the ends type of thing. But at the end of the day, it's not worth your mental sanity or your health at all. In fact. So looking back, I wish I really could have just took a step back and said, how can I fix this? Because I'm starting to feel the tolls. And I didn't. And with that, it was a lot of missed time that I didn't get to really grow Chip into what I wanted Chip to be. And, here we are now, or I'm having that attempt again with a lot more discipline. Um, but I'm saying this in the fact that maybe y'all aren't necessarily content creators, but you just have a lot of work that you're doing. You want to keep stacking more work, or you got all these aspirations, which are good. Aspirations are good, but putting so much at one time isn't a good thing. Or you don't know how to say no. People throw a bunch of stuff on you. They kind of take advantage of your kindness and say, "Hey, can you do this, and that for me?" Or when you're free, can we do this? Can we do that? And you don't have the time to recover properly. You end up burning out. And when you burn out, you can come to despise or subconsciously, you know, dislike something you used to enjoy. And the thought of that is really sad. And so I guess I'm just really making this to yap as I always do, but also vent to show people, like, here's my struggle with burnout. I didn't like it. Um, Make sure you catch it before you get too burnt. There's the power in saying no, not to just others, but to yourself, to, prioritize things and realize that we're human, we're not machines. We can only do so much. So we need to take that time to really reflect and realize what we can't and can't do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not weak to admit that you need time to recover or you need breaks. I mean, you'll even see the biggest content creators take a break every now and then. You know, you can keep that aspiration, keep that grind set, but at the same time, just like everything in moderation, that's the key. And I guess my question to y'all is just, have you all ever got a point where you felt burnt out or overwhelmed, or something you initially loved or a hobby started to feel a little overwhelming? It kind of felt like a job and you lost enjoying it. And if you did, well, how'd you get the spark back? How did you get yourself back into it if you did get back into it? Or how are you currently trying to get back into it? Because I think the biggest shame is not giving up on something, but not knowing what it could have been. And the thing is, you could always stop something, but you always keep going again. You could always try again. And I think that's something not a lot of people really think about. So, that's just my question to y'all. I mean, feel free to leave a comment or anything else you got to say about burnout. I'd love to see what y'all got to say. I always love to hear what other people got to say about just human topics like this, even though chipmunk, human, same thing, but you get what I mean. But I mean, yeah, other than that, I guess that's it for my yap session today. I mean, as you could probably tell in my latest videos, I like to yap. But if y'all don't mind and you kind of enjoy this, I'd love y'all to give me some topics that you want my thoughts on. And if y'all like this type of content I'm doing, where it's a lot more just uh long sessions and yap sessions, just because I like to talk. But if y'all liking it, feel free to let me know. If not, also let me know. But you can like, comment, subscribe. And feel free again to leave your thoughts down below Other than that, hope you have a good one. Say hi to your neighbor, and Chip is out of here.